Hello students, my name is Harleen Kaur. Today we will be taking Unit 4th of Human Resource Planning and Development HR Specialization. Let's see first topic, that is quality of work life. Quality of work life refers to the favorableness or unfavorableness of a job environment for the people working in the organization. So it is the favorness or the unfavorness of your job environment where the people is working, that is quality of work life. Quality of work life is a process of work organization which enables its members at all levels to actively participate in shaping the organization environment, methods and outcomes. So it's a process where the together management and employee shapes the environment, their methods and outcome, so that we get a very comfortable, very proper environment to work in. This value based process is aimed towards meeting the twin goals of enhanced effectiveness of organization and improve quality of life at work for the employee. So with the help of quality of work life, people feel themselves comfortable, and so the productivity of organization also increases, as well as the quality standard of the employee who is working in the organization also increases. Now let's see quality of work life leads to, or why it's important, why it's necessary in the organization. It's positive employee attitudes towards the work and the company. Second point, increased productivity and intrinsic motivation. Enhance organization effectiveness and competitive advantage. Leads to satisfaction of the employee. Reduces the stress, reduces the accidents, reinforce the workplace learning. These are the points that are covered in quality of work life importance, or why it is necessary in the organization. Principles of quality of work life. First one is security insurance. If we go for the quality of work life, then it's relief to the security. It gives security to the people who are working. The fear of anxiety, loss, future loss is removed from the minds of the employee who are working. The working condition are more safe and is fearless. It gives job security and safety against the other hazards that takes place in the organization, like harassment or any kind of misconduct. So people feel very safe while if we follow the principle of quality of work life. Commitment to improvement. With quality of work life assurance, we always go for the improvement part. Then democracy at workplace. It means greater authority and responsibility is given to the employee. Now, meaningful participation in decision making of the employee is also taken into consideration. Training to the facilitators, we give trainings. Then principles of equity. Principles of equity means there is a positive relationship amongst the people who are working. Everyone is treated as equal. There is not taken. There is no part of discrimination between the people who are doing work at the same levels on the basis of their performance. We treat everyone as equal. Flexible working hours. We provide flexible working hours to the people who are working, so that they feel themselves more comfortable and they can work according to their time. Then participative management. We involve our employees in decision making, in taking corrective measures, so the its decision and the participation of employees taken into consideration. Then career development. We go for the development of the career growth, development of the individual who are working in the organization. Now let's see the importance of quality of work life. Enhance stakeholders, relations and credibility. It enhances the productivity, it attractions and retention, reduces absenteeism, improves the quality of working lives, matches people who would not otherwise work with the jobs, benefiting families and communities, job involvement and job satisfaction. With this quality of work life, we go with these are the various importance that are covered in quality of work life. Now let's see the another topic, that is the change management. Now first we see what is change. Organization change is a process by which organization move from their present state to the some desired future state to increase the effectiveness. Change is a process where we follow something moving from the initial stage to the next stage. So that kind of improvement can be done. Parivartan, change. Change management. Change management is a systematic approach to dealing with change. So to deal with the change means change management. When we deal with the change is the change management. It has to be both from the organization as well as individual purpose, individual level. Then organized systematic application of knowledge, tools and resources needed to effect change in the people who will impact by it. So change should be very planned. If it's not taken properly, so it will be very much uncomfortable for the people who are facing the change. So there should be proper resources, proper tools while implementing the change in the organization. Now let's see the levels of change. Levels of change includes, first one is the individual level, the change that has occurred because of an individual. It can be because of its new job, because of its new course he is opting, or because of new system he has organized, or because of his personal life. It can be a reasons through which an individual faces the change. Group level change is one where the certain group of people follows the change, is influenced by the change. Change has been implemented in certain number of group for certain reason. Then comes the organization level change, when the organization introduce a change in the workplace, that is the organization level change. It can be because of introduction of new technology, because of the introduction of new system, or due through new administration. It can be any reason because of which the organization is introducing a change in the workplace. Now let's see the nature of change. First one, change disturbs the old equilibrium. Yes, it's very true. It disturbs the old equilibrium. It disturbs the old system, and if you want to opt a new system, then your old system need to be disturbed. This type of new equilibrium depend upon the degree of change and the impact on the organization. Then change is a continuous process. Yes, it's a continuous process. It's never ends. It's every time goes on and on. Some changes which are minor can be absorbed very easily, while the some changes that are major that need special attention, special resources, special change efforts needed for them to be opted by the organization. Then let's see, change is a natural process. Yes, as a death is a natural process, change is also a natural. It is a rule, not an exception. Yes, everything change by its time. Slow change can be slow change is very easily accepted, while the rapid change needs kind of disturbance and takes time to adjust. Then change is perceptual and behavioral. Perceptual, it's a way of thinking, how you accept the change. Some people accept the change very easily and they adopt the change very easily, while others take time to adopt that particular change. So it's perceptual and behavioral. It depends upon your thinking and your behavior, how you are dealing with the change. Change affects whole organization. It's not the one single unit the change is going to affect. The change is going to affect the whole organization, whole system in which you are working. Then change can be reactive and proactive. Reactive change means when the change is brought through the external force, and the proactive means when the change is initiated by the management to increase the effectiveness of the organization. That is proactive change. Change can be planned and change can be unplanned. Planned change, that is done with proper planning, proper deliberately that the change is done, that is a planned change, while the unplanned change is because of the outside force. The organization need to go for the change. Change can be incremental or transformational. Incremental change is one where the minor improvement or adjustment can be done to follow the change. It does not require a more number of attention, more number of changes in your unit, changes in your organization structure to change for the adoption of the change. While the transformational change is one which require the more technical support, more resources, more political support, means your system change completely. So it's require more number of to accomplish that particular change. It requires the support of the whole unit of the organization. Then change may be originate in response to internal need, as it's required by the internal need of the organization. So the change is needed in the organization. Internally it is needed. Now let's see the Kurt-Lewis process of change. Kurt-Lewis process, this is a process of change that was given by Kurt-Lewis. This is a change where the first step is unfreeze stage, then comes a change, and then the refreeze change. Unfreeze change is a part where the old system and old values is being removed from the employee's mind, and we ensures that the employee is being ready for the change. He is adapting the change. He is being asked, he is being convinced to adopt the change. So ensures that employer ready to change. They are in a condition that they accepts the change that is being introduced in the organization. Then comes the change, execute the intent change. The change that has been introduced in the organization need to be now intended, implemented in the organization is the second part, that is change. Then comes the refreeze phase. Refreeze phase is the ensures that the change becomes permanent. All the people who are working in the organization and has accepted the change very positively, and now they are comfortable in that particular change. Now let's see forces of change. Forces of change, first one includes the workforce diversity. Yes, the workforce diversity is a major force of that influence the change. As the organization, there are the diversified people who are working in organization. So their system, their culture, their norms, their values need to be adopted by the organization, and they need to adjust all the people who are working in the organization so that the organization is organization working can be done comfortably, as well as the women participation is increasing. So the organization culture, organization policies need to be in favor that the woman feels herself comfortable in the organization. Then comes the economic forces. Economic conditions again is a challenging for the organization, and it influences the organization to change, need improvement. If we want improvement, then we need to economically, we need to change our system. Political forces, again, political parties, large business houses, all these things particularly influence our laws, our policies, our procedures, influence the organization to change their pattern. Then technological force, technology, yes, we all know that the technology keeps on changing, new technology is introducing day by day, so our organization need to follow those technologies so that they may go in a long run they become more stable, and in long run they become the part of the, they don't go out of the market. So they need to adopt the new technology and they need to change their working style. Then the impact of the globalization, we are into the open market, we are into the place where all the multinational companies work together, we work into the globally, so our system should be friendly towards the global parties, global market. Then comes the social change, social because of the knowledge, education, government efforts taking place fast rate. So the socially we should be equal participation of women, equal pay for equal work should be taken into consideration in the organization. So these are the external forces that influence the force to change. Then comes the internal forces, change in the management, managerial position. Yes, change in the managerial position means when the old managers is replaced by the new one, so the new manager become it can be due to the promotion, it can be due to the retirement or transfer. So the new manager has come up with his own new ideas, his new working style, so he again will be following a new pattern. So the organization need to adjust that and they need to change their style. It's quite clear that he is not going to follow the old way of working. He is going to introduce his own way of working, his own way of style, his own way of philosophy. Then change is an operative personnel. Operative personnel means that the place where the new generation of workers have better education, they place greater emphasis on human values and authority, and questions authority of managers, so their behaviors are more they are more influenced. They need to be more given more attention as the turnover rate may increase. So the organization need to handle these operative functions, operative personals very carefully. Then comes the deficiency in existing structure. Change may be exist due to the change in the structure of the organization. The organization structure need to change because of new system, new authority, new way of working. So the our system there is some deficiency in our structure, so we need to change the setup. Then comes the employee expectations. Employee expectations, because of today's the employee is more educated, they are more they are more young people than the older ones, so they workers demand more, they are more career minded, so the organization need to provide the environment where their growths and their opportunities is much. They go for the flexible working hours, they go for more benefits. So the old traditional style of working need to be improved, need to be changed. So this is again another force for the internal force that influence the change. Then change is work climate. Work climate is a place where the lethargic, unmotivated, or the dissatisfied work need to be replaced from the happening or the opportunistic place. So the system need to, organization need to go for the layoffs, need to go for the retrenchments of the people who are not working properly, and need to give the importance to the people who are the important, who are playing the important role in the organization. So their work climate need to change if they are monotonous work, or the old traditional concept in the workplace, or the unmotivation is being is in the organization. Now let's see barriers to change. Barriers to change includes the lack of employee involvement. Lack of employee involvement means the employee is not interested to adopt the change. They are not involved in that particular change, so it is very difficult for the organization to introduce a change in the workplace. Then language barriers. There at times people is not able to understand what the other people want to say. This is the language barrier. Then noise, because of certain noise of the disturbance in the telephone call, if you are saying something on the phone, or disturbance due to the machines or anything that creates noise, is again a barrier to the change. Distance is again, if you are very far from the people and you want to introduce a change, so it's very difficult for the people to understand your intention towards that change, as you are very far from that particular person or that particular people. So again, this is a barrier to change. The time when you are introducing a change is very important. You should take a proper time while introducing a change. Then unclear message is not clear what you want to convey, that is not properly understood by the people who need to adopt the change. So again, it's a barrier. Then comes the use of jargon. Jargons are the special words that are difficult to understand. The most of the people, they are the words that are not understood by everyone. They are the symbols or the words that everyone is not able to get them. Then comes the emotional barriers, because of your emotional state of the particular person, he is not ready to change. Then comes the semantic barriers. Semantic barriers are the barriers that misunderstand the topic that one particular person want to convey. When the sender and the receiver has misunderstood the message, so this is the semantic barriers. These are the barriers to the change. Thank you, students.